You know what my favorite thing is? Whenever we run into another dog owners love to tell you specifically how long they expect their dog to live. Every time we run into a dog owner, like we'll be like, oh, she's so pretty. And she's like, yeah, you know, she's 9 years old. So hopefully she'll be with me another 3 years. It's like, that's kind of morbid.
It is.
And I know it's what's on your mind. I understand it, but it is just like, I mean, I would never volunteer that. Because also you're like, there's this element of like, your dog's right there.
It's heavy for casual conversation, but it's the same thing that grandparents do and like old people do. Not even grandparents. It's like your freaking mom and shit will always be like, you have to do this because I don't know how much longer I have left. Like,
that's true, but here's what I would say. At least you're the one saying it about yourself. Like when my grandpa's like, hey, come to Thanksgiving. You don't know how much longer I'll have left. There's something about like being at Thanksgiving and then just like your aunt looking at you and being like, yeah, you know, grandpa's 88. So, you know, I'd give it 5. I'd give it 5.
Right. Like you're speaking death over someone else's life.
You don't need to say it. Well, and I always say like, in the case of like telling me about your dog, it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to it. Because I always just go like, oh, hopefully.
Yeah. I think hopefully is good.
That's what I say.
So that's kind of, if you are out there and you were wondering what you should say when someone says how many years they think their dog has left, hopefully is a good go-to.
What I'm going to start doing is when they go, I go, how old's your dog? And they go, oh, you know, 9, but hopefully they have 5 more years. And then I go, well, either 5 more years or maybe 5 more seconds. And I pull out a gun. Right. And then I rob them.
And then they're relieved because their dog isn't dead. They're like, well, at least I just got robbed.
Yes.
That's a good one. And that's a good one.
And that's a good one.
My response whenever someone's like, yeah, he's 9, but dogs of his breed tend to live till 15, so hopefully he has another 6 years. I like to like make up a story about a dog that like lived till 30. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes that's what I feel inclined to do, where I'm like, oh, I actually knew a friend who had a really similar dog breed and he lived till he was 31. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it was so crazy. But like, I think that this breed just like tends to like live a long time.
Well, it's like whenever anyone says, it's like whenever anyone says that like, oh, drinking soda and smoking cigarettes are bad for you, suddenly everyone knows about a grandma who lived to 110 and
she
smoked
was like
3
the
packs a
picture
day.
of health. I will say I did have a grandma who smoked 3 packs a day. As I always say, God bless her. She'd be looking rough in that coffin.
She'd be looking rough.
She coughed all the way to the coffin. You know what I'm saying?
She put the coffin. She put the coffin. Because as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't see her.
No, you did. And you said
I've seen pictures. Yeah.
And you agree.
Yeah. I
didn't exaggerate the tales.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Smoke? Or you wouldn't frick her?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you showed me a picture of your grandma, and I was like, even if we weren't together, I would not be interested in this lady romantically.
Yeah.
That's something I'm also always volunteering unprompted.
So, show me your grandma? Yeah, I wouldn't. So you know, don't worry. I'm not interested.
Midnight Milkshake.
I will say there was a neighbor that we have. She definitely doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'm not worried about it. But we did meet her 18-year-old dog, and she did make a joke about like how like, oh yeah, she's 18. Like it's crazy she's lived this long. I haven't seen that dog in a minute. I just noticed that the other day because I saw the woman. No dog. And I'm like, obviously you don't want to say anything. That's also it creates this awkward dynamic where it's like, I know presumably her dog probably passed.
Yeah.
May they rest in peace. But I'm like, now it's like, awk.
Well, that's always the thing when you're walking your dog and you bump into another person walking their dog and you have to make small talk, but it's just about the dogs.
Well, it's so crazy because like you'll never learn a fellow dog owner's name. So long as you guys can communicate through your animal familiars, like you'll never know who they are.
Well, my go-to is, how old's your dog?
Yeah.
They're so cute. That's such a good harness. Oh, wow, so energetic. Or if the dog's like not really like responding socially to bite her, I'll be like, okay, her social battery has ran out.
Yeah.
Dog owners love it when I say that.
Well, you know, dog owners love when you humanize their dogs.
They love it.
Which also brings me to, okay, you guys. Whenever Biter gets a haircut, Robert refuses to acknowledge Biter's haircut, and he refuses to like say if he thinks it looks good or not. So like whenever Biter gets his haircut, he'll go back in the car and I'll be like, Robert, doesn't he look so sharp? And Robert will like literally stonewall me. Like literally, this is the only time. I don't have a problem with Robert ignoring me, generally speaking, but when it comes to specifically Biter's haircut and doesn't look Biter look sharp, it's freaking, Robert acts like he's never formulated an opinion on anything in his life. He acts like he's never You act weird.
Okay, one, I don't like when you say like, normally I don't mind when Robert ignores me.
No, I'm saying you don't normally ignore me.
I know. Well, I don't ignore you.
You don't ignore me, but when it comes to doesn't Biter look sharp, it's literally like
because like you get so. There's always like a test in the question that I don't understand.
Test.
You're testing me somehow.
I just want you to say that if Biter looks sharp or not. And also, if you don't think Biter looks sharp, then you need to be voicing that too. Because should I be asking for a different kind of cut for him? Do you have an inspo pic that you'd like to share with the groomer?
Can I be honest? Okay, when a dog gets their like fur cut, to me, it's not aesthetic or anything. It's like
there are ways to like shape their face and shape their body and stuff. And if you don't like how our groomer is shaping Biter,
I have zero opinion.
Why won't you say that he looks sharp then? If you have zero opinion, why wouldn't you say he looks sharp?
I think you don't know. I think you like the phrase "he looks sharp" about your dog.
Yeah, but then why can't you just agree with that or disagree? Why?
I have no opinion.
But do you understand how vulnerable it is to like throw something like that out there and have it be met with silence, dead silence?
It's not vulnerable, and also you don't throw it out. You would have a point if you threw it out there once. You throw it out repeatedly.
Well,
dozens and dozens
because you
of
don't
times.
say anything ever.
Because then it does become a test. Then it becomes like you're trying to break my will.
Well, because why won't you just say that he looks sharp?
Because I don't want you to break my will.
But why is your will so strongly opposed to saying he looks sharp?
It's not opposed.
Why I'm confused.
The will is not opposed to saying he does or does not look sharp.
It clearly is because you won't say it.
I won't say it because my will is opposed to kind of giving you the satisfaction of breaking my will.
But what satisfaction? I literally just want to know if you think he looks sharp or not.
No, it's mental domination.
It's not.
I promise you it is.
The fact that you perceive it as mental domination.
You're trying to dominate me mentally.
Don't you guys think it's normal that I just want to know if like Robert agrees that Biter looks sharp after he gets it
Okay,
groomed?
ask me right now. As if we just picked Biter up from the groomer. Ask me right now.
Oh, doesn't he look sharp?
Oh, I guess I don't really think about it. How is that not the end of the interaction? Now it's multiple days later.
You get that, like when you say, "Guess I don't really think about it." Like that implies you don't think he looks sharp.
No, it doesn't. It implies I don't think about it.
But like, I'm asking you to. I'm asking you to
you're not
think
asking
about
me to
it.
comment on your dog's fur.
I am.
No, you're asking me to like mentally sub for you.
No, I'm not.
You're asking me to sub for you.
The fact that you view it as I want you to mentally sub for me, like that's your problem.
It's not a problem.
That's not real.
But
I don't want you to mentally sub for me.
You're asking this many times.
Like, doesn't he look sharp? Am I wrong?
Here's the thing. Here's the main thing about the dog's appearance. Lateral. Before, now, it's lateral. Because it's like, I'm not even judging dogs aesthetically. Okay, like, it's like asking if a dog is hot. It's like, I don't even think about dogs that way.
No, it's not. You know that when a dog looks scruffy in the before and then a dog looks sharp in the after, you can be like, wow, he cleaned up nice.
But the reason...
You can just say something about how he looks clean.
I feel like the reason you cut a dog's fur, it's not aesthetic. It's just like, oh, it's getting in the way of the dog. So as long as it's like out of his eyes, it doesn't matter. That's kind of my stance.
But then why wouldn't you say that he looks sharp? The fur's out of his eyes.
Because that's not really how I feel.
He looks sharp.
It's not that I feel he looks sharp but I also would be not true to say he doesn't look sharp would be like he looks bad or something. I'm like, no, it's just like it served a function. It served a function. It was functional. I'll give you that.
I want to move on from this.
No, you
I just
don't.
like
You
what
keep
you're
bringing this
about.
up. This has gone on. You've asked me this exact same.
Because I just don't understand why you're being so withholding about just like saying an opinion about his grooming. Just say an opinion about his grooming.
Because you're trying to put my brain in a gimp suit so you can mind dom me.
I'm not trying to mind dom you. I'm literally just trying to get you to form some sort of opinion on his grooming, whether it be good or bad.
Yeah.
You could say he looks freaking ugly, and I'd be like, okay, well, like.
But you're saying I can say anything, but what I'm saying is the truth, which is like I literally do not form an opinion of a dog's fur cut.
But you, like I said, you form opinions about so many other things.
Yes.
That the fact that you're deliberately not forming an opinion on this seems weird to me. Like, it's like I'm asking you, I'm begging you. Hey, Robert, please form an opinion on my dog's grooming.
Well, what I'm hearing is please mentally sub for me.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
Let's move on.
But again, it's like but also I think that's also a great thing. I have a ton of very strong opinions about the things I actually care about, which mostly is just like movies, TV, awkward situations I've been in, and what that says about society at large. I have strong opinions about the things I care about, and I have zero opinions on the things I don't care about. Well, we always talk about this whenever we hang out with like a lot of times like older people who have like, for example, jobs in tech or jobs in finance. They generally will take a backseat in the conversation because we will simply steer it to the things we care about. Pop culture, awkward situations. In your case, it's being unpopular in middle school. It's being a loser in high school. It's having no friends. You bring the conversation there. So what ends up happening is that these people who should be smarter than us end up like playing the role of the dumb person because they don't know about the TV shows we're referencing. So that's kind of my thing, is like, our whole thing, and it is our thing, is always moving the conversation to a domain that we feel comfortable about.
Well, it's always about bringing your enemy to your territory.
Yeah, and
so to speak.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you say, does the dog look sharp?
Yeah.
You're trying to bring me to your territory. And I'm saying, I'm not going.
The best way to have home court advantage is to invite the opposition to your home, obviously.
Yeah.
But
It's
what?
not how basketball works at all.
Yeah, the Lakers call up the Heat, and
Yeah.
they say, those are two teams I could think of, and they say, hey, come to LA, and
And then the Heat go, no, come to Miami. And then and that's why 0 games are played in the NBA, because everyone's saying, you come to me.
You come to me, so I can have a home court advantage.
By the way, I saw a thing, apparently Nike's stock price dropped. I just imagine like suddenly randomly all our listeners are like hugely invested in Nike and they all panicked.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, just drop it. The stock.
There it is. But Nike's stock price dropped, and one of the things in their report that they attributed the drop in Nike's valuation to is the fact that Nike is very tied into the NBA, and like NBA players all have signature shoes. And this was in the official report. Part of the drop was due to their perceived decrease in the cultural value of the NBA. Like the NBA has like fallen in its cultural standing. Do you think that's true?
I'm really thinking about it. I don't know, but I would say yes, probably, because the most famous, here's why I think.
Yes.
The most famous NBA players are older. The most famous NBA players that I can think of are like LeBron. I also think it really doesn't bode well that one of the most famous NBA players is Michael Jordan and he's dead. No, he's not. No,
the very fact you didn't know.
Okay.
But the very fact you didn't know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that to me is indication that the NBA is less culturally relevant, because I can't name any NBA players our age.
That's true.
And yeah, I cannot name a single NBA player my age.
And again, I am someone, sometimes like I'll be exposed to more of the NBA than Dana, but like I don't watch the NBA. And I actually think that's like a real test, because like I feel like even if you don't know the NBA, it's like, well, I know who Steph Curry is. I know who LeBron James is. Kevin Durant, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know Kevin, but isn't he older?
He's like 37.
That's what I mean.
So I'm like, and it is like very interesting, because I guess that's what Nike was speaking to, where it's like, I feel like the NBA used to be a much bigger deal than it is now.
I think if your industry is culturally relevant, I should know a lot of players who are my age or younger. And like I know that NFL is still relevant. It's because I do know Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and they're all younger than me.
That's right.
So I think that speaks volumes.
And Joe Burrow actually will be going to a lot of influencer parties.
I mean, Joe Burrow is very relevant. He's photographed with Jake Shane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the NFL, you're relevant. You know Jake Shane.
I would love to know what Joe Burrow and Jake Shane talk about.
Probably like they talk about Jake Shane. Jake Shane's also really good. I would say he is. When we talk about someone who's really good at directing the conversation to things that they're interested in, Jake Shane. Because Jake Shane will like literally get the most famous person you've ever heard of talking about his stomach issue.
Yeah. He's going to have Jake Shane and Joe Burrow will hang out, and like Jake Shane will talk about Marty from Girls for an hour, and then Joe Burrow will be like, and anyway, this wide receiver, and Jake Shane's like, I got to go.
Yeah. Jake Shane's like, I can't. He's like, my social battery's dead.
Social battery's dead.
Every brilliant podcaster, I think that's a special skill of theirs probably, is redirecting the conversation topic to something that they are intimately familiar with.
Yes. But again, I would say I just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like the NBA used to be huge.
I think it was. I wonder what that's a function of. Just like where our culture's at. I also feel like the NBA, like, dude, they're trying way too hard to do like Hollywood synergy. Like, I feel like, again, the only time we ever even see NBA games is when you see celebrities sitting courtside, and it's like, I never have any idea what the game is.
I literally do feel like because that's simultaneously something that's like cool about the NBA and also something that's like maybe is like distracting, because it's just like, why is there just like a back wall of just like famous people?
Well, I think it's just become a photo op, and it's like just a photo op.
Yeah. I remember there was a story about like Ben Stiller was like a big New York Knicks fan. You know, he like sat courtside, and then Ben Stiller like went to see an Indiana Pacers game like during the playoffs, and the Pacers like on the like loudspeakers went, "Oh, and everybody, these are their celebrity fans from New York coming to support the Knicks."
Yeah.
And then everyone in Indiana, they all booed.
Yeah.
And I remember Ben Stiller like he went on Twitter. He's like, "Yeah, that kind of hurt my feelings. I don't know why they would do that."
Dude, when celebrities earnestly talk about their feelings being hurt on Twitter, I'm like, dude, take it away from them.
Well, that also is the thing where, like, if celebrities are going to get involved in sports, like, they have to be involved in all of sports. Like, you get booed in sports. That's part of it. So if you want to get the photo op, you have to get booed.
Yeah. I mean, bring back tomatoes at the Oscars and stuff like that. Maybe that
Tomatoes were never at the Oscars.
But tomatoes used to be in, like, theater in the Middle Ages. And
oh, you're talking about, like, the Shakespearean theater.
Yeah, they'd bring tomatoes there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's in the tradition of the performing arts is getting tomatoed.
And so maybe that's a way to like revive the NBA too. Is like kind of bring back like medieval peasant decorum where people can like throw things onto the court.
Actually, I think medieval peasant decorum being reintroduced to things like live theater and sporting events could be huge. Huge. I'm actually really thinking about it now, and I'm like, no, you could get a lot of, if you were allowed to throw things at the players and entertainers, people are going to be going in droves.
So clear. And then I think the players are allowed to retaliate.
Oh,
I think that's part of the fun.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, because it can't just be one way. It's not a humiliation
no.
ritual. Well, I think I do not know this, but I do remember there was some story about like there was a basketball player named Meta World Peace who like started a full-on brawl, players against fans.
Whoa!
I forget what it was. I forget what it was called, but like literally, some player I think some fan threw something at him, and he sprinted and like beat the shit out of him. I think.
What happened?
I don't know. I mean, I assume it was like a fine, or it was like it was probably for like 2 weeks. They're like, it's the biggest deal in the world, and then now it's 15 years later or whatever, and I don't even.
I never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, I think they probably try to keep it on the wraps. It's like the way they don't like to show streakers on TV because they don't want to encourage other streakers.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure they want to kind of like, you know, not let you know that there is a possibility when you go to the game that these players and you will get into a real deal fight.
I mean, again, I think that would make a lot more people show up and show out.
Yeah.
If they knew that they could fight Maniacs.
Yeah, maybe Ben Stiller would have been. Ben Stiller rolls in fully expecting to like get in a fist fight with the other team's players.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller versus like the biggest guy on the Pacers.
Yeah, and maybe Ben Stiller would win.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
I think he's brilliant.
Clearly
has a lot of rage.
He's got a lot of rage. He's also very clever. You know.
Yeah, he's very smart, witty. Anyway. Speaking of celebrities, what celebrities do you think would make good presidents?
Well, I was thinking about this because it does feel like we're just fully in the era where like politicians holding political office feels outdated even to say it. It's like,
yeah. Well, because in order to even run, you need to have built a platform for yourself, which inherently makes it so essentially in order to become a politician, you first have to be some sort of influencer. So why not doesn't it make more sense that people who already have platforms would start running for office as opposed to like, my goal is to be in office, I need to first build a platform.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the old way is like, oh, what, you volunteer on campaigns, you're an assistant to a congressman, you go become mayor. It's like, that's too slow.
Well, dare I say, actually this kind of ties into, I think the assistant path in general in a lot of industries has kind of dried up and become less promising. And I think a lot of that is because like boomers won't retire.
Yes.
So it used to be like this function of like, okay, if there's a 35-year-old guy who has a really cool job, I can go be his like little assistant bitch for like 10 years. And then when he wants to start working less in his like 50s, I take over his empire, right?
Yes.
Like that's kind of how it used to seem to work.
Yes.
But now we have all these like boomers who again, they refuse to get out. They refuse to go. And also they're like extremely jealous of millennials and Gen Z. And like, they don't like the idea that the younger generation will replace them.
Well, you hear about in olden times, like if you were a blacksmith's apprentice, you would do that. And then guess what? You would become a blacksmith. You would become a blacksmith. But now it's like, oh yeah, I'm an executive assistant to, like a manager at some like finance firm. Oh yeah. And then what? Nothing.
Nothing. And then
I stay there forever.
And then I'm an assistant forever.
Yeah.
But I was even thinking about like, okay, like someone like Nancy Pelosi, she's like freaking like 80 or something. She's old as freak.
Looks great though.
And because she spends a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer dollars on that hair and facelift.
Does she really?
I mean, she gets like $800 haircuts. That was the thing during the pandemic. We were in lockdown and she got like $1,000 haircut.
Okay, but that being said, it was the pandemic. I am like, everyone's playing by different rules. I remember we would like go out to like dinner because
totally
really fancy restaurants because it was just fucking fun.
I'm not like shaming her. I'm just saying like it's just funny to be like, hey, you guys stay home. Me, I gotta go get this hair done.
I've never literally like seen someone so jealous of Nancy Pelosi. You're so jealous of her.
Is, like, I'm sure Nancy Pelosi has a lot of staff who work for her who assumed that one day they'd get to be Nancy Pelosi. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi, like every day she gets older and every day she seems less intent on retiring.
Well, and then also I also think in a lot of industries, it's this thing where it's like, oh, I have an assistant and you're my assistant for a long time. And then the thing, you're good, so I keep you employed as my assistant. But then when it does come time for me to like step down or like step to a different opportunity, then now suddenly actually no one wants to hire you or promote you because like, well, you've just been an assistant for 8 years, 10 years.
Right.
If you were so good,
why weren't you promoted?
Why weren't you promoted? I'm like, well, I wasn't promoted because I was good at being an assistant.
And I was a loyal assistant. I didn't want to overstep or like, betray my boss because I thought that if I was loyal to my boss, they would be loyal back to me. No, because as we've talked about, corporate loyalty only goes one way. The bottom to the top way. But again, I've seen so many people make videos about this, but like the whole idea of like mentorship in fields is so done because it's like any mentor that you have is just some like jealous person who's 5 years older than you who will do anything in their power to sabotage you so you don't replace them.
Oh, mentorship is a trap.
Mentorship is a fucking trap.
Mentorship is a psyop by Big Mentor.
By Big Mentor. Dude, it's literally just so they can like keep tabs on like every single person who could potentially replace them that is theoretically viable competition and make sure they stay fucking down. Well, if anyone offers to mentor you, run. Sprint.
Yeah, by the way, it's a good time to notice that Dana and I have no mentors.
We have no mentors. Or mentees.
So we're out of this whole cycle.
Yes. We break the cycle. It ends with me.
It ends with me. Well, I also think this also happened with the assistant track. And by the way, this is true literally across industries.
Yes.
Like these like executives will hire assistants and be intentionally vague about what their job is.
Yeah.
So, which basically makes it then impossible for them to get another job because like I'll hire you as my assistant with the often unspoken promise that if you just kind of eat shit for a little while, you'll get promoted and it'll be worth it. But then it becomes like I'm like doing your laundry, I'm cleaning your car. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and then it becomes really vague. And then when
I'm trying to get another job, my next potential boss is like, so what did you do? And I'm like, I did laundry. And it's like, what? And
then they look at you like you're stupid or like you didn't do well. I'm like, I did what I was asked to do. So like executives will ask their assistants to do a bunch of stupid shit so that they can't even get promoted by anyone else because anyone else is going to be like, why would I promote you? All you've done is this stupid shit. Yeah. And it's like, I would have done brilliant shit if I was just simply given the opportunity.
Basically, a lot of people are freaking evil and you can't trust them.
Yeah. But again, that's always what they say. Here's what I'll see a lot of people who are like, you should get a mentor. You need to talk to a mentor. They're almost always selling a course on mentorship.
Yeah.
That's almost always, that's like the only people I see that who are like, mentorship is really important. It's always someone who would benefit individually from
being your mentor.
From being your mentor.
Because they can sell you a course.
Yeah. I also think like the word assistant now means nothing. And I also think that's on purpose too.
This is my take that I think about a lot where I'm like, let's call everyone in corporate America is a servant.
Yes.
If you are not, and even if you're the CEO, I was thinking about this too. Even if you're the CEO, you're still a servant to like either your board of directors or your freaking wife. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone is serving someone.
Or your mistress who's actively blackmailing you.
Right, exactly. Or your mistress. But we're all a servant to someone, whether that be someone who's blackmailing us or our direct superior.
Or if you're wondering, like, what about like the billionaires, like the founders at the top of these companies? They're serving the devil.
Right,
they're
Baal.
Serving the forces of evil.
So
they're serving Baal.
Yeah, and Baal is like, hey, I'm going to need 5 babies by Friday.
And then like, this billionaire's like, fuck, I got to get babies. And then they call their assistant and they're like, yeah, look, I know it's your day off. Yeah. I don't care. You're on. It's Christmas. Go find me 5 babies.
And then the assistant, when they're trying to get another job, their prospective employers like, so what are you good at? And they're like, do you need babies? And then their new boss is like, no.
Why would we do that?
And then they can't get a different job.
Because all they've done is harvest babies for their billionaire boss to sacrifice to Baal.
And this is where we're at in this economy, guys. Wait, but we didn't answer any questions. Wait, but what celebrities do you think would make a president?
Well, maybe we'll kind of work up to that because it is like, because right now I feel like it's been Baal's choice.
Baal has picked
presidents
traditionally, historically.
But in this new era, it's just kind of like, Anyway.
Well, I do think we are entering, dare I say, okay, you want to talk about if democracy is good? I think we're entering an era where we are, in theory, the closest we've ever been to a democracy in that, like, the billionaires, even though they control all the mainstream media outlets, the mainstream media outlets have completely lost their attention hold on the public. Like, completely. Like, you guys, like, nobody is watching mainstream media no longer has the hold on American audiences that it previously did.
Yes.
In that way, we are approaching a more democratic, at least in terms of propaganda, the era than we ever have.
Well, it truly is the will of the people.
It's the will of the people.
And you realize a lot of times the people are kind of dumb. I'm
the
dumb.
people might need a little more guidance than we have.
Well, if you said, Robert, you're going into an election tomorrow, there's 2 people on the ballot. One of the people on the ballot is kind of an unnamed, low-level government clerk who's kind of just worked in the bureaucracy of some unknown town you've never been to. And the other person on the ballot is the OC's Adam Brody.
Right.
I'd be so tempted to vote for Adam Brody.
I'm probably voting for Adam Brody.
There's a good chance I'd vote for Adam Brody. And that's kind of just the way I think all our elections will be.
I think so too. I think it'll become about name recognition. Completely. Yeah. Like, I actually don't think the average person will have it in them to, like, actually think about anything other than, like, do I even recognize who this person is?
Well, even, like, again, Donald Trump, like, became president, and then, like, you see, like, a lot of people suddenly were talking about, will The Rock be president?
Right.
ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith is thinking about being president.
Well, it's always been circulated, like, Oprah should be president.
Spencer Pratt
is running for mayor.
Spencer Pratt is running for mayor.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do think we're just kind of entering that. And obviously, like, look, to some degree, all presidents have been kind of just, like, corporate stooges to, like, there's actually just, like, their silent backers controlling them and pulling the strings. So I do feel like now it'll just be those exact same backers will now just be like, well, fine, I'll just back a celebrity I think will win.
And then it's all always going to be bought and paid for by whoever has the most money to help someone garner publicity and attention. Yes. Like, that's always how it will be. But now the people who pay to garner publicity and attention, they understand that it's way easier to pay for publicity and attention for someone who already has publicity and attention.
Yes.
Like, it's a way better investment. If I know that, like, someone like Spencer Pratt already clearly has an idea of how to reach an audience, I'm more likely to, like, juice his reach.
Yeah, is it easier to take someone who has an audience and give them policy as opposed to take someone who has all the policy and find them an audience? It's like, and again, for better or for worse, I mean, definitely for worse, for sure.
Probably for worse.
But I am, again...
But maybe for better. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how you and I do in the next few elections.
Exactly. Well, I think it would be, for us, it would be a while before it would be, like, our influencer time. Yeah. Like, I see us as people who would, like, be running for office in our 70s.
Well, can I be honest? Yeah. I don't think any influencers would make the cut. I don't think any influencers would.
I genuinely think Logan or Jake Paul will run and or win at some point in the next 20 years.
I think Jake is likely to run shortly. I think he will lose. I don't think because I also think it has to be a celebrity who does have the ability to pretend they're kind of like a
But don't you think Logan
candidate.
Paul is trying to do that right now?
Logan's close, but do you want to know the number one thing that would keep Logan Paul from being elected president?
Suicide for us?
No, actually, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the number one thing would be the fact that he's got that influencer hairdo designed to cover the fact that you have a receding hairline.
But doesn't Trump have a similar one?
No, I think Trump's got...
Well, he has the Trump. He has his own thing.
He has his own thing.
He invented his own hairstyle.
So I guess maybe if Logan really leans into his weird haircut...
Or invents a different hairstyle.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about? There was that picture of some influencer like in a boxing match and they got punched and their like big floofy bangs flew up and you realize they're like mostly bald.
Well, it's a huge comb over.
Which, by the way, no shame. Any one of us could go bald at any moment.
No, anyone could go bald at any moment.
But
although So Clav would say that if you are bald, you should invest every dime you have into growing hair and figuring out how to grow hair.
Yeah.
And he says that your life is worthless if you don't have hair.
Interesting.
Do you think Clav could be president?
No, not at all. I definitely don't think Clav could be president. I don't think any of these streamers could be president. I think that you know who could be president? Sandra Bullock could be president.
That's so real.
If she ran, she'd win.
But she's Canadian. She was born in Canada.
What?
Wasn't she? I feel like she's Canadian born. Am I crazy?
Fuck.
Wait, am I making that up?
Sandra Bullock's
Maybe
Canadian?
I'm thinking about because of The Proposal.
And Ryan Reynolds is.
He's actually
her
Canadian.
character is Canadian.
I know in the proposal. Maybe that's why I think
I've
that.
kind of always thought of Sandra Bullock as
As,
like,
like, the ultimate American
all-American
queen.
woman.
No, she's American. She's
Thank
American.
fucking God. Don't scare
so she
me
can
like
run.
that.
She was born in Arlington, Virginia. Kind of in the home of America.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like.
So yeah, I definitely think you're right. Sandra Bullock could run and win. I think that's real as fuck.
To me, it needs to be someone. Also, here's what I do think.
Yeah.
And look, I know that Trump was kind of his own deal, but I'm like, I think it needs to be someone who most people generally like. Because even though Trump was divisive, I would say go back to Ronald Reagan, who, like, at the time, it seemed like people had a positive opinion of because they liked his movies.
Right. I do think it's like all of the late night talk show hosts are off the table because they've been too partisan in the last 10 years.
Maybe Conan.
You think Conan?
I think Conan is not that partisan to people. I think people like Conan. I think even like Republicans like Conan.
Okay. So here, who do we have so far?
Sandra
we have Conan
Bullock.
And Sandra.
I don't think The Rock could. Is actually maybe my hottest take.
I don't actually think The Rock could either.
Because I don't think there's anyone who in their heart of hearts like genuinely like he's their favorite. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People like him as a wrestler, if anything more than they like him as an actor. And if anything, like I think he's viewed already as a little too, even amongst actors, kind of too corporate.
Tom Cruise is too controversial.
Tom Cruise would never get close. I am probably for the better. I would say
but like a Meryl Streep. I don't think she would.
No.
She would never do it.
Because you know what's interesting? I think she's almost seen too much as an actor. I think you need someone who's like she's seen as like the ultimate actor, whereas Sandra Bullock is seen as that's Sandy. That's Sandy, my friend.
Right. That's so real. She's Sandy, our friend. I'm trying to think of another like male actor.
I'm trying to think of musicians. Like, are there any like?
What about like John Mayer? No
fucking way.
Okay.
No.
I don't think Reese Witherspoon would win.
John Mayer would run on a platform of Tinder's getting too crazy for men in their 40s. And with Reese, I think she's in a similar boat to The Rock, where she's kind of already seen as like too much of like a conglomerate, a brand. You know? You know who? Jennifer Aniston? No.
I mean, I don't know.
I guess the fact that we're not immediately like, yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's just not. I don't think there's not. I hate to say it. It's just she's not presidential, and I don't know why. She just doesn't have a presidential vibe.
You know, all right,
neutral value. Neutral.
Here's one. I think Ellen could be president if she ran as a Republican.
That's so real.
Because her time for winning as a Democrat, I think, has passed. But if she just said full villain arc,
Ellen GOP, I think that could do something. I think
Ellen could actually make that work.
I think that's real.
Also, visually, like aesthetically, she could very much. I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like she could very much like be like your kind of like a Republican candidate.
Okay, so Sandra Bullock,
Ellen,
and Conan.
And Conan are our
three picks that we think could maybe be president.
No, I guess if we're looking toward the future. Oh, you know who else could be president? Oh, but you know what? McConaughey could get close.
Oh, I think McConaughey
would
have a good chance. I think McConaughey would have a great chance.
I think McConaughey would have a real good president. If that's something you want to do.
Also, he does a lot of like...
it might be something he wants to do. Sometimes, I swear to God, sometimes I watch these like interviews of like Matthew McConaughey and I'm like, you want to run. You're like about to say you want to run.
Well, I would think that he's about to run because we saw that like he does a lot of like nonprofit work. And he does a lot of like speeches and like kind of like things that are kind of general. He goes on a lot of way more podcasts than he needs to be on.
He goes on a ton of podcasts to like tell you to follow your dreams.
Yeah, that's and I'm like, president.
This makes no sense unless he's running.
Soft launch.
He's
always soft launching.
Here's the thing. Matthew McConaughey will say stuff and I will literally be like, if any other celebrity on planet Earth said this, I would hate it in my bones. But when McConaughey says it, I'm like, damn right.
I love Matthew McConaughey. Again, his book Green Lights changed my life.
I do feel like in that way, he kind of is like a Sandra Bullock effect where it's just like, I just like you.
Well, he and Sandy are both... Have they ever been in a movie together?
I want to say in the 90s when they were younger. I want to say it.
I feel like that would be a good, like, kind of like older rom-com. Yeah. Like now.
I mean...
Hit us up. We'll write you something real nice,
and then maybe
Sandy
we'll head up your campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who... I don't think, here's the thing. This is someone who I don't think would be a good president, but I could actually genuinely see running for president is Mark Cuban. Do you know who Mark Cuban is?
I could see him running. He wouldn't win.
He would not win.
Well, he would be, dare I say, there's kind of like, okay, in the same way, you've heard of the Kia Asylum for pop girlies.
You know what's so funny? I've heard of it,
Do you
and
not know
I've
what
kind
it
of
comes
nodded
from?
as if I've known what it means. I
Okay,
don't know what it means.
I think there's this pop star Kia, KHIA, and she had like a bunch of songs that like just never really transcended to the mainstream. Again, if I'm wrong, someone correct me. But the whole idea is that some pop girlies are stuck in the Kia Asylum. Like Zara Larsson was stuck in the Kia Asylum, or like
I would argue Madison Beer is kind of in the Kia Asylum.
People say that Madison Beer is in the Kia Asylum. Okay, so I would say, in the same way that there's the Kia Asylum for pop girlies, there's also the Kia Asylum for political candidates, where they're just like never gonna make it, no matter how much people try to make them happen. And I would say like Marco Rubio.
I was literally about to say
Beto
Marco
O'Rourke.
Rubio.
I think Beto is in here too. Beto's in the Kia Asylum.
I feel like Beto is
political
like,
candidate.
It's like he's not even in the studio to record these songs.
But like I would say that he was in the studio.
Well, they tried to put him in the studio.
So I'm like, so Marco Rubio. I would also say like what's his name? Paul Romney's running mate.
Wasn't he good looking? No,
not
the
really,
guy
but
who
you know
Paul
who I'm talking
Ryan?
about. Paul Ryan.
I remember his whole thing was like CrossFit.
Yeah,
He tried
or
to be
like
like, my thing is I'm jacked. And I'm like, I actually don't know if we want that.
like
for
Ralph
you.
Nader, Jill Stein. Just like, political candidates.
Who like don't take off.
Yeah, and I think Mark Cuban would be in the Kia Asylum
But
of
here's also
political candidates
that
if he
almost
ran.
goes back. Like people like Jill Stein or whatever. And I'm not speaking on policy here. To be clear, we're not talking about policy
No,
over
we
here.
don't. This is not about policy.
This is not about that.
This is literally like their brand.
I personally will vote for the correct candidate every time, but I'm just talking about you, the dumb electorate.
The electorate.
The electorate.
The masses.
But I just mean like I think like Jill Stein and like a lot of like people who have like just risen through politics. I actually think politics kind of carries like a certain like stain, and I think the key is you build your brand outside of politics and then enter with maximum goodwill because it hasn't been ruined by being in politics. I would equate it to the way Lady Gaga became an A-list movie star by not doing it like any movies. She became an A-list pop star, and that allowed her to, after doing some fun parts in Robert Rodriguez and the American Horror Story series, that allowed her to kind of cut the line to actually be like a box office draw.
1,000%. I think build your brand in the thing that will make you the coolest first.
Yeah.
So whatever you can finagle to be really cool, you should build up first in that, and then you can kind of jump to whatever you want.
But speaking of which, Lady Gaga could not be president because even if she did manage to get voters, like, because we all love Lady Gaga, we love Lady Gaga, then you'd show up to vote and you're like, who the fuck is Stephanie?
Who the freak
Stephanie
is
Germanotta?
Stephanie Germanotta? That would be such a problem at the polls.
That'd be a problem. Most people would be confused.
Yeah. I actually think we've kind of landed on probably the only ones that I can really think of. Matthew McConaughey, Conan, Sandra Bullock, and Ellen DeGeneres as a Republican.
Here's what I will say, and this is kind of a dark horse, and this would be in the influencer space. I think if Emma Chamberlain coffee took off, I think if she had something outside of just her YouTube persona take off to like, because then she could be like, I'm an influencer and a businesswoman.
Yeah.
I think if Chamberlain Coffee took off, which I'm not really predicting.
Right. Or if something else, some other business venture of hers.
But if Chamberlain Coffee became as successful as even like Prime, I think it would allow Emma Chamberlain to really be a real player at that level of celebrity.
My thing is that Emma Chamberlain, I don't think ever would want that. Would be my real prediction.
But I would say that probably helps her.
Well, 100% the most likable presidential candidates are the ones who seem like they don't really want to be doing it.
Yeah.
Always. Like the ones that literally give, I could take this or leave it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I do think Emma Chamberlain's influence seems to be strongest when she's not asserting her influence. Like that's almost like the kind of leader that she is like she just like does her own thing and then people like gather around her.
Yeah.
Like she never says, guys, come here. It's more like, I'm over here. What's she doing over there? That's
it's almost
her
like
vibe.
Emma Chamberlain would never announce she's running for president. She'd just start showing up on the polls and then she'd just be like,
her vibe.
Yeah, just like, oh,
yeah, I'm running for president. Yeah. And then she'd be on like her own like little podcast and she'd be like, so I'm running for president.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, guys.
It'd be the debates and she'd like zoom in and she's just like sitting at her desk in a turtleneck. Just like,
But like also who will never be president is any influencer who has been too political already. That would like Hassan Piker would never be president.
And again, not anything about his beliefs or views.
Literally,
it's literally just
has to do with the fact that you've been political. In the same way that like
Well, honestly, in the same, like, the polls are, like, political.
You're right.
Weirdly.
The polls are maybe too political already to be president. That being said, I literally think Logan will run at some point.
I think one or both of them will run.
Yeah.
And if they run together, I think it would be...
You think they'd run on the same ticket? That's wild.
Well, yeah.
That's so funny.
I feel like if they were like, fuck it, we ball. But I think they would run, but I don't think they would have any shot of winning. So I don't think that's really... I'm not predicting who will run, because that's almost a different list.
I think that David Dobrik could run and win when he's like 50. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see like David Dobrik doing like a bunch of different things for the next like 20 years and then being president.
David Dobrik would have to run as like a chaos candidate, and there would have to be a nation-altering event. Like all our fresh water would have to dry up. And then the next year, Dobrik's running.
Okay, so we're in a drought and David Dobrik is our president. All right.
Maybe. I mean, I think, well, okay. Mr. Beast would run into a similar problem as Lady Gaga.
Mr. Beast can't. Also, I literally think Mr. Beast is Canadian. Okay, maybe he's not. There's a certain vibe. Wait, David Dobrik can't run because he wasn't born here.
Fuck. And also, a lot of people hate his guts.
And a lot of people hate his guts. But mostly he's DACA. But dude, Mr. Beast like gives me foreign energy.
You just think he's weird as hell. like assuming someone's born in Canada is just like a way of being like,
saying,
you're
like,
weird.
I think you're weird.
You're weird. Although here's the one point in favor of Mr. Beast is when we met him in person, we instantly folded before his power.
Yeah.
When we met him in person, he spoke to us as if we were his greatest fans, and literally we instantly became like, oh, well, we love Beast Games.
When he asked us if we wanted to share an elevator with him,
it felt like an honor.
Well, it felt like I was a Make-A-Wish kid.
It felt like
I had told the Make-A-Wish people that my dream was to ride in an elevator.
So maybe if Mr. Beast was like, vote for me and I'll lock 100 people in the Oval Office with me who will stay there for my whole term. And if they stay there for the whole term, they get the nuclear codes.
Dude.
Maybe. Probably not. But I don't think Mr. Beast would.
I think that I think he would definitely buy a presidential candidate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he would I could see him throwing his weight unsuccessfully behind, like, Ryan Trahan.
Okay, but I was literally about to say that. Ryan Trahan might have a shot.
Ryan Trahan would have a shot.
He would have a shot.
Also, again, after watching his Penny a Day series, I'm like, yeah, this man could get the people.
Well, he'd be like, because he'd do some video about, like, a lot of politicians spend a ton of money on their campaigns, but I've decided to see if I can do things a little differently.
Yeah.
Join me on my...
penny for president.
Penny for president.
Yeah, and
I will spend 1 penny a day on my presidential campaign and see if I can win.
Yeah, and that's how he would become president.
And then Ryan Trahan would become president.
But I think that, like, again,
and then he would rule with an iron fist.
That would be wild. I mean, he would have a Joffrey arc, I think.
That would be hilarious.
Wouldn't that be funny? I could definitely see us making Ryan Trahan president and Ryan Trahan being like the most evil dictator this world ever seen.
I feel like, isn't Ryan Trahan young? There's no way he's like our age.
No, he's younger than us.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like 5 years younger than us.
Well, wait a minute. He's so much more successful than us.
I know, it just makes sense.
That can't be right.
I know, but he's done a lot with his time. He's done more with his time than we have.
I also think too with a lot of YouTubers where it's like, I assume they're all children. And then they're actually, in many cases, they started when they were children, but now they've aged, but they're still doing the same persona as when they were children.
But here's the thing is they're still like younger than you think because a lot of them started like at an age you didn't think was possible to start.
Yeah.
So like I literally think like Ryan and his wife Haley, I'm pretty sure both of them have been making videos since they were like 12 or something.
Yeah.
Like they've both been famous on the internet since they were like young teenagers.
Yeah.
So.
And I was just like, I don't know, playing sports with my friends in the park.
I was crying alone in my room.
Oh, why? Were you not popular when you were a kid or something?
Yeah. Anyway, those people, who would you vote for? Okay. I could be grifted into Matthew or Sandra.
Okay.
I don't think I would vote for Conan or Ellen because I think both of them do have... you seem too smart, I don't trust you. You're evil. Okay, and so Ellen and Conan give smart.
Let's go our final list. So our final list, these are celebrities who we could see genuinely becoming president. Conan, evil Ellen, Ryan Trahan, Emma Chamberlain, Sandra Bullock, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's just because like I grew up in like the 90s and 2000s. Like I could see myself voting for Sandra Bullock. McConaughey, I actually don't think I would vote for. I think I would like a lot of his campaign videos. And then when it came time to vote, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Depends who you'd be running against, I suppose. But I think you're right in that, like, maybe I wouldn't actually vote for him. I could see myself getting got by Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, like, I think, would be really electable. Is the one person that I'm like,
maybe I'd vote for her.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'd vote for her. I mean, it depends how Practical Magic 2 is.
It will all depend on Practical Magic 2.
It really hinges on that, so.
Because, again, if Practical Magic 2 is mid, I'd be like,
I can't do it.
There goes her campaign.
Yeah. Or if there are just, like, too many... like jokes that I'm like, I could see Practical Magic 2 giving me the ick and making me rescind my Sandra vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I could see myself going home and watching Miss Congeniality to wash the taste out of
And
my
then
mouth. And I'm
getting
back.
And I'm back.
I'm right back, baby.
And I'm right back where I was.
But I will say this though. We're thinking about old celebrities, and again, like a lot of like times like celebrities that came of age in like kind of the 90s and the 2000s. I'm talking about their careers and stuff. And I literally think it's because like celebrities of that era still were kind of given a mystique. And yeah, they were all like insane behind the scenes or whatever, but like they still kind of had this certain mystique and aura that kind of the new celebrities, like the streamers, just don't have. Like, it seems like every time I see like a clip from like a stream, they're like doing something genuinely insane.
Yeah.
And it's like again, like I'm not trying to be whatever, but like didn't Clav like take pills and like pass out live on stream?
Yeah, he's also had like multiple seizures on stream.
And he's
stuff
like gone to jail for real.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that was like old Hollywood. Now I'm speaking of like the 30s or whatever. It used to be about getting a bunch of like pill popping criminal maniacs and then, you know, bringing them onto the lot, dressing them up like Little House on the Prairie, and like presenting them as like these well put together people for just like the normies in the suburbs to enjoy.
Yeah.
And now it feels like normies in the suburbs, in order to become famous, are like turning on a Twitch stream and like genuinely like committing crimes and doing pills and stuff. It feels like we've switched it.
I do feel like this era of media is really defined by our nation's lack of ability to pretend and accept pretending as valid entertainment. So like I think like we're just in this era where, because scripted media low-key started falling off and getting bad, people started associating like scripted media as being boring and only wanting things that felt real.
That's
and
so true.
That's like where all of this has kind of come from, is like bad acting has led to people doing bad living.
That's so
if
true.
you will, where it's like now in order to entertain an audience, the audience has to like feel like you're not pretending, but like that used to be what good acting was defined by. It didn't feel like you were pretending, which we always talk about. That's how we know Euphoria is good, is you guys forget that it's a fucking show.
Yeah.
Like that's good TV.
And by the way, to be clear, I don't even watch it. We stopped watching. I don't even think it's good. I don't know why it's good for you.
Your audience reaction when you watch Euphoria and you go like, "This is sick. How could they do this?
How could they make Cassie do this?"
Right. It's like you guys think it's real. That is the art of TV that we've kind of lost as a culture. And I do think, I'm like, we clearly as a culture too, we lack the ability to engage with like fake media that's good and not understand that it's not real.
Well, I think you're right. As kind of like fake media, like as kind of like our choreographed, like put together planned shows got worse. Like we went from like Friends and Seinfeld to like The Voice and The Masked Singer.
Right.
So as that got lame, you're right. People went to the internet, and the internet was a place for authenticity. But then it's like sooner, like, again, as we realize in like TV shows and stuff, it's like, oh, we're gonna make up crazy, dangerous situations for these fake characters to go through. And then now internet content, in an effort to mimic that, is like, oh, me, a real person, I will become a character to you, and I will do real crazy stuff that hurts me and or others.
And again, in order to succeed in the space, you have to be pretty extreme. Like we talk about this all the time, but it's like, no, like, you have to have a clear brand and identity, and then you have to lean into that brand and identity. And a lot of times, the further you lean in, the more extreme the behaviors that your character is going to exhibit and engage in are.
Well, I saw this. I just saw like this clip that was like being reshared online, and it was a clip of like a streamer had to stop their stream because midstream they walked into the bathroom and saw a guy hooking up with their girlfriend in the shower. And I'm kind of like, and I literally had the thought of like, do you think he like had his girlfriend and this guy like climb into the shower and make out? Is this planned or is this real?
Yeah.
And then I thought like, either way, you shouldn't have to do this.
No, either way, like this is broken.
Yeah,
like,
either way it's broken.
But also much like if needing to be an entertaining streamer has led you to like normalizing this kind of behavior in your real life, that is really concerning. And I was saying to Robert, I was like, the whole beauty of like plays and movies and TV shows is that they give people a safe space to act out heightened scenarios without endangering like the basic stability of their normal lives.
Well, the movement from like Hollywood media to kind of online media and like streamers and stunts and influencer stuff is it went from like, this is fake entertainment made up with like stunt people and actors being portrayed, like, and characters being portrayed by actors. And now we've shifted to real people doing real crazy stuff that actually hurts people for real for your entertainment. And it kind of reminds me, actually, people talk about this where it's like apparently professional wrestling went through like a similar arc where like, you know, you watch like professional wrestling from like, you know, like the old timey Hulk Hogan days. And, you know, like it's everyone, you know, fake punching each other and like, you know, fake slamming each other, but really they're like being gentle. And then people realize like, actually it's crazy when you hit people in the head with like steel chairs and stuff. And then they started hitting people in the head with steel chairs for like real.
Yeah.
And everyone started getting brain damage and like bleeding for real. And it's like, well, it wasn't the whole appeal of this that it was fake.
Right.
And now you've realized like, wait a minute. What if instead of fake, it was real? It's like, well, then it would just be like violence.
Be horrible. Yeah. Then we're watching something that I'm like, well, it reminds me of when I was a kid, and I'm sure lots of other kids felt the same way. I saw the Broadway performance of The Lion King, and I thought that Mufasa died for real because they have, and it looks really real. Like when you're a kid and you're watching this on a stage, like I thought Mufasa died, and they like had to replace him every time. And the idea of this horrified me to my core, shook me to my core. I was like, oh my God, like I just watched this man die because we need it for the play. That like really, really disturbed me. And you know, my parents had to be like, no, like he didn't really die. He just like looked real, whatever. Like that's like stage magic, movie magic, whatever. Like we literally as a society have come full circle where like we don't even want it if it's not real.
Yeah.
Oh, if they're not replacing Mufasa every night,
fake.
it's fucking fake.
The effects are fake.
Like, yeah, it's fake.
Well, it's like, again, like Hollywood, like old entertainment used to be like an animator drawing Mufasa getting trampled by the wildebeest. And entertainment now is like a Twitch streamer genuinely shoving his brother off a cliff into a wildebeest herd.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome to my stream. There's a bunch of wildebeest. I'm going to make my bro go Mufasa mode.
Right. My bro's going Mufasa mode.
And then like the next day you see on X, it's like a streamer arrested after accidentally having his brother get stampeded by wildebeests.
And it's like, what happened to drawing a lion getting stampeded?
That being said,
what happened to drawing it in your sketchbook instead of acting it out on Twitch?
Yeah, but here's what I will say: if this podcast doesn't take off soon, like I will be asking you to shove me into a wildebeest stampede.
And I will happily do it.
You will.
But only if I know that the viewers are there.
If the viewers are there.
Obviously, it's like, well, we're trying to like build up our audience, you know, as much as we can. We just want our
audience to be big enough that when one of us inevitably throws the other into a wildebeest stampede, it will mean something. Because obviously that was the first idea we had when we started this podcast is what if we shoved each other into a wildebeest stampede? And then we're like, we have to build up an audience for that.
Well, I always say that what actually has always kept me from having like a really extreme public mental breakdown is that I know I'm not famous enough for it to matter yet.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm holding off.
Yeah.
I'm holding off.
Well, as we often say, it's like, dude, the thing is now, like, I just want to like do some, I just hope that when I do die, they don't describe me as an influencer.
Well, yeah, because we always say like, if you die as an influencer, the comments will say that however you died, it could be like cancer. It could be like, you know, a freak accident. People will think that it's your fault because you're a stupid influencer.
If an influencer dies by diving in front of a child who's about to be shot by a bank robber, and the influencer takes the bullet for the child, but the headline goes, influencer shot by bank robber, the comments will be like, probably had it coming.
Yeah. Stupid influencers.
One
this
less
is why I hate influencers. Good.
Bank robber W.
Yeah, bank robber W
for the bank robber.
I will never cry for an influencer. But that's also why we say Robert and I are both trying to establish ourselves with other kind of career titles and roles because when we die, we don't want influencer to be the main descriptor.
Yeah.
But I think that like, unfortunately, because influencer dies blank because of blank is like one of the most clickable headlines that exists. Even if we transcend, even if we were to theoretically say become president, either of us, it would still be influencer in parentheses now president.
Yes.
Dies.
Influencer. That's why none of these influencers could become president. Because they're influencers.
They're influencers.
No matter how successful they get, they're influencers.
Will be influencers.
Whereas Sandra Bullock, you know what she is? She's a movie star.
She's a movie star. A movie star.
A movie star.
And again, not to go back to millennials can't do it like boomers, but like there aren't really any like movie stars like Sandra Bullock that are our age.
Well, it's because like all those old movie stars, they all had an assistant, and the assistant thought they'd get to be the movie star.
Yeah,
like they're like they're Sandra Bullock's assistant on Practical Magic 1, and they're like, okay, well, if there's ever eventually Sandra Bullock will retire and allow me to be the star of Practical Magic
2. No,
she's
starring in that too, bitch.
She's starring in that too.
Well, this is the premise of the movie All About Eve.
I haven't seen that one. I've been too busy watching Clav streams.
Dude, I've been too busy watching Clav OD. But again, in the old days, it's like there's a movie about a guy like Clav, or there's a TV show about a guy like Clav. Clav shouldn't have to exist. Clav's existence is, to me, indicative of the failure of the mainstream entertainment industry.
Like Clav being a Looksmax obsessed celebrity, that should be a character on Entourage that Johnny Drama forces Vinny Chase to meet.
Yes.
But instead, you have to be a real guy who it seems like is at the very least hurting yourself a lot, before you even get to the other people or whatever.
Also, again, you should be doing bone smashing in private so that you can be in a movie.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like
the fact that you're, okay, how do I say this? The bone smashing should have been a means to an end, but actually the bone smashing became the whole thing.
Because
that became the spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually not even about, like, again, has Clav looks maxed? I guess. But to me, I'm like, Clav is not famous because he's handsome or because he looks maxed. He's famous because of the things that he did and shared with us that he did to become how he looks now. Because here's my thing. I'm like, to me, Clav, I'm like, it doesn't matter what he looks like. The only reason we know who he is because he shared what he did.
Yeah, and it's like Clav should have just been allowed to be like an improviser who at UCB one night like played a character who said, I mashed my face with a hammer to get pretty. But instead, it's like, there's no more like UCB really. Improv is dead. We're done with that. If you actually want to be successful now, you have to actually be that.
Well, I also think it's so interesting because I would say like the physical standard that Hollywood adheres to has gone significantly down. Like Hollywood no longer requires you to be like super hot or anything.
Yeah.
If anything, like people talk about this all the time, but they're like, wait, where'd all the hotties go? Like mainstream media, TV shows, etc. So I'm like, it's just interesting that like, but still to appeal to a mass population of people, you have to be attractive or at least talk about the extreme things you're doing to try to be
that's
attractive.
the thing. Like zero people watched Clav because he was hot. They watched him because he's an insane person. And I think that's kind of...
He talks about this, but even he talks about this, which I'm like, okay, so this is really funny where he talks about like how the girls that he has on stream, he's like, none of them would talk to me or hang out with me if it wasn't streamed. Like he was like, if I were to turn off the cameras, no one would be here. And I'm like, so you admit that it's like looking like this actually hasn't been advantageous. What's been advantageous is talking about how you got to the point that you looked like this.
Yes.
Like, but isn't that like there's something so funny about that? Like where I'm like, okay, so Looksmaxing didn't do anything for you.
No.
But it did in that like the process of Looksmaxing was interesting to people. And you're like such a weirdo that like people want to hear about you talk about Looksmaxing.
It almost feels like it's like again, it's you're just doing something insane. In many ways, it's like if the bearded lady at the circus was like, you need to beard max to get ahead. It's like no, it just means like you're nuts to us.
It's like she's not like famous because she like grew a beard.
Yeah,
like
she's famous because like wow, no one else is just like has a beard like this.
But also she's like very seriously like if you want to get ahead, you gotta grow the longest beard. Sorry, I can't even say that without laughing. If you want to get ahead, you have to grow the longest beard.
Yeah.
It's like
the bearded lady's on stream. She's like, I see these girls and they don't even have a stash and they don't even have like a little goatee. They have no stubble. And it's like, I'm beard mogging you. I walk around and I see these women and I'm beard mogging all of them.
Like, and again, I just wonder, I'm like, what happened to just normal shows that were good?
Although if I'm being honest, I'm sure if you go really, really far back, it's like in like the 30s, like when Hollywood first started, there were probably like every extra was like, a homeless person getting killed. You know what I mean? And like there was no safety. If like someone got stabbed during a sword fight, they just drag the dead stunt person like out into like the desert.
People have died on the sets of lots of Hollywood movies.
That's true.
So
I guess maybe it's
always been like that, and it is nothing new.
But I can't emphasize this enough. If this podcast doesn't take off, I will be shoved into a herd of stampeding wildebeest, and Dana will grow a beard. If that's what we have to do, we'll do it.
Totally.
By the way, speaking of Looksmaxing, did Biter get a haircut?
Do you think he looks sharp?
I don't really have an opinion.